Because Tameo is a sweet card. Alright, we're going to wrap up today playing some Sun Gates. So we've got 4 copies of Blood Sun here, which notably, this makes all of your gates come into play untapped, which is sweet, but they still count as gates for things like Guild Summit and Gates Ablaze. This also works well with our Lotus Field. That being said, let me get some foil gates in here really quick, because the auto import doesn't always work. We have a Boros Guildgate that's not foil. I really wish the auto importer would just always import the premium versions of the cards. That would probably be too easy though. Alright. Let's pop it into an event, shall we? That's true. Plaza does not gain life under Blood Sun. That's fine. It's a risk. It's a risk we'll take. Yeah, Sand's great. How can we get those 15 to 20 cards in Historic? By spending wild cards, I'd imagine. If you go to the vertical view in the deck editor, there's an auto foil button. Yeah, that's in the other editor too, Nebula, but it doesn't change the version of the cards. So there's 2 different guild gates. They said we could get those cards in historic events too. Oh, sweet. That's good. Kind of unfortunate we didn't draw another gate here, because I would have preferred hitting a gate this turn and then having this untapped next turn so we could Circuitous Route. Yeah, they're going to add 15 to 20 cards to the format every quarter. Yes. Historic is only going to be best of 1 until November, which means we won't be playing Historic on stream until November. Alright, this is my 5/5. I think I'm fine with this trade here. I just want to not die. Blossoming Defense and Feather would be sweet. Yep. Seven sixes kill me really quickly, chat. Anybody else die really quickly to 7/6s? Or is that just a me problem? Honestly, I think them adding individual cards is just so much smarter than them adding complete sets. It's an incredibly good decision. With the new cards announced, historic name makes a bit more sense. Sure, but they didn't name it that knowing that that's what they were doing. I feel like we're probably dead here. Yeah, we're basically dead. So, the lack of good white or black removal in here really kind of hurts in a matchup like this, huh? I don't have a good, clean answer to any of their stuff. I think I'm actually just clicking submit here. Now, I didn't have 6 gates. Did I? No, I don't think I had 6 gates. Wiggin, let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Yet, it feels like I've fallen into this weird alternate timeline where, like, I'm three for 3 in a row. Yeah, I'm like, they're like 3 for 3 in a row on like fairly sizable announcements where I've like read through the announcements and just been like, oh yeah, that's really good. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's incredibly reasonable. That's better. That's exactly what I would have done, or that's better than what I would have thought of. Look, chat, all I'm saying is that the fingers on the monkey's paw are all closed now. Scanning Twitter, you nailed what people would complain about. Of course I did. I'm not new. I know how this works. Didn't you know, Marty? Wizards is a not-for-profit organization that makes Magic the Gathering for fun, purely to appease Magic the Gathering players. They definitely do not have shareholders and people to appease. Alright, so we Blood Sun here. How's this deck going? We got run over in the first game, but this game we're getting our ramp on, and this Krasis is about to slam down. What do you think spurred the change internally at WotC to actually make calculated and positive change to the game as of late? So, I think a lot of it comes down to never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by incompetence. And I think it's silly to assume that in previous timelines, Wizards wanted to make mistakes or they wanted to upset the players. I think their goal has always been to do what's best for the game. It's just as they've gained more experience and maybe hired better or different people, what they think is best for the game is more often aligning with what the players also think is best for the game. They don't want new players to access Secret Fall. Your base hypothesis is wrong. For a new player, playing Historic is incredibly overwhelming. In general, I assume Wizards would greatly prefer that Historic players... What am I blocking here? All my blocks suck. Guess I'm trading with that. I thought they said that in the article. No, they said they prefer players play Standard in the article. Like point blank, if I recall. We really need to draw another payoff here. Another Hydroid Krasis. Also, the fact that they gave the announcement like that, they're going to encourage existing players to spend some money. Because people are going to go, oh, I'm probably going to play Historic, so I should probably just go complete my Standard sets now. Yeah, gonna go get all those lands. Gonna go round out all those other cards I was thinking about getting but hadn't yet. Literally doing it now. Yeah, they're gonna get a pile of money. If you are someone who is interested and really wants to play something like Historic, you should be glad that Wizards of the Coast is figuring out how to properly monetize the format. They are a for-profit company that's trying to turn a profit with most of their decisions. And in order for what we want to align with what they're going to do, what we want them to do needs to be able to make them money. It's just the long and short of it. Yes, if they can properly monetize Historic, it is far more likely that they'll be able to support it in the long term. So that's less money for them, Frags. The reason why they don't do what you've just suggested is because it's less profitable. It would really help if someone more experienced in Magic to make a list of cards I should get in Standard before rotation. That sounds like an excellent article. Maybe I'll write that up at some point. And again, another thing to remember is that, like, you don't have to own every deck in Historic. Like I missed the name. Someone in chat complained about whale chasing games do. You don't have to be a whale to play. You have to be a whale if you want to play everything, but you don't have to experience every part of Magic to enjoy and play it. There are lots of parts of Magic that you can play without owning everything. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, Marty. The whale life is superb. But it's an optional lifestyle. Listen, I ain't shy. Let me pull up my expenses spreadsheet. Expenses 2019. I have spent $1,814.80 on Magic the Gathering Arena in 2019. And guess what? Before the end of the year, that number's only gonna go up. I make very loud whale noises while I play, okay? Very, very loud whale noises. Is it really considered optional if your entire deck isn't foiled? Can you really consider that optional? I'm sure you've talked about it a bunch of times the last few days. I don't really have too specific thoughts on Frostodon. I think it's fine. I think it'll be a net positive for the format. I guess those are my thoughts. More interaction is good. Forcing the Field of the Dead decks to be interactive or die is a good change. No, that's strictly Arena. I haven't spent money on Magic Online in a long time because I borrow cards for Magic Online. Yeah, I've not put any money into Magic Online this year, looking at my spreadsheet. Magic Online playing in the events is effectively gambling, but I'm slightly above average at Magic, so I gamble in the green. Is the renting service included? No, that's a deal with one of my sponsors. MTGO Traders hooks me up with cards in exchange for me promoting their stuff a little bit when we play Magic Online, because they're great. Sand's a little slow, but like gate into Plaza Gatebreaker Ram is pretty good. And here we see why Wizards is focusing on Arena instead of Moto. Yeah, that's part of it. I don't know. I mean, Dale, what you have to understand too is for every person like me who's above average at Magic Online, there's lots of other people who are spewing constantly to offset my winnings, right? That's how casinos work. Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of that, True Gamer, comes down to the fact that a lot of people are misinformed and don't understand what other hobbies cost. It's been almost 2 years. This will be the last month we sub for a while. Well, no worries about it, Alex. I appreciate the almost 2 years of support. You've got that sword there next to your name. So one of the upsides to giving people mod swords is if they can't continue to sub for whatever reason after that 12 months, they get to hang out and chat still. As a thank you for all the support over the years. Seamus Soup Nichols, thank you for the quarter of a year. Transferring $5 from one Jeff to another. I like your content. Bezos can't have my bucks, you can. Thanks for keeping me around. So, I think we just drop the RAM, right? Just drop my 4-4. Speaking of 12-month subscribers, Wombat Combat, let's get you a sword. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one. Dr. Jones, checking in for the 11th month. Howdy, howdy. Yeah, no worries, Alex. Always take care of yourself first. Any dollary dues that find their way in my direction should always be extra fun money. Easy trade. Magic players love to complain about things that largely won't impact them. Maybe I'm supposed to Blood Sun plus Grazer this turn. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to Blood Sun plus Grazer this turn rather than this. I think that was a mistake. Although the fact that they played this pre-combat is pretty good for us. Why did they burn the Bedevil inside of combat there? Probably because they weren't expecting me to block. They probably had this Regisaur as well, and were expecting me to not block, and then they wanted to play the Regisaur post-combat. Ooh, little rewarded for waiting on the Plaza there. I'm gonna go ahead and Blood Sun and then probably double Grazer. Nice thing about Magic is besides it, you can go down to LGS and play randomly reliably on the weekend. Yeah. I look back at my screen and I'm dying, Marty. What did you do? Yeah, at least Regisaur doesn't trample. Glass half full. Don't put that voodoo on me. Listen, Martin. Joslit, thank you very much for the very generous tip. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday wherever you are. Oh, let me get my dashboard loaded here. YouTube videos helped me through a hard time the last half year. Here's some money as thanks. I know it's not on your menu, but can you put these towards beating Sparky once, your choice of deck, else put it towards Yarok Field? Sparky's the in-game thing, right? Is that the bot? How do you get to Sparky? And thank you for the very generous support, Joslit. Sparky's the punching bag. That's what I thought. Ooh, that's a big Lotus Field. So, I get to do this, which draws a card. And then I get to Nexus. And then we get to Lotus Field, and then I can play this for X's 8. Man, where's a what's it called when you need it? Yeah, where's a Gates Ablaze? Someone made a 100-card singleton deck against Sparky and dreadhoarded every mythic animation card they could. That sounds hilarious. Yeah, definitely dead to removal. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to 3. This Plaza of Harmony, unfortunately, does not gain me life under my Blood Sun. Sparky's decks are made of cards you keep in your sideboard after a particularly bad draft.
Stand by and watch. That's more like it.
Four, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana total. So I can... I probably should have done this first, right? Because these could have come into play untapped. Oh, that's... Alright, I got that going for me. No, if I replay Blood Sun, I can't cast... Oh, I can cast Gates Ablaze, right? Because if I do this, this will come into play untapped. Yeah, okay. So I get 3 more shots at a, Gates Ablaze. Gates Ablaze. Remember that time we bounced our Blood Sun and it was awesome? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Papi! Just completed my Microsoft Azure Architect Expert Certification. I'm stoked to be able to watch you stream for Flight Back Home. What's going on, Gargoyle? Got about another hour left here. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. They get to kill my boy Krasis, so I should have attacked first, but that's fine, chat. That's fine. Do you see how many cards we drew? We all know who the real winner is here, okay? I'm kind of proud of that turn. That was a sick turn. The old bounce the Blood Sun, gain 6 off my lands, and then go back about my business. All right, so I've got 4, 8, 10. I didn't guild summit because I don't want a deck. I guess I have a. I guess there is a Nexus of Fate in my deck, huh? I guess that's not a concern. How did Modern go? Modern was a dumpster fire this morning. It was not a good scene. The historic announcement is awesome. We are going to play a bunch of historic on this stream when we get a best of 3 queue. Super, super pumped. 6. I want to leave 7 lands up here so that way I can Nexus if we draw it. Is it me or is Modern was a dumpster fire this morning? Something Jeff says every day. Oh, this is worth 3. Oh, I totally have a lot more. I didn't realize that another Lotus Field. Hey, Ash World, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm just excited to have an Eternal format without the inclusion of fetch lands. You and me both. Yeah, we're certainly in garbage time. Oh, Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral would have made us mana. Yeah, you're totally right. It doesn't matter. We are currently playing a choose our own adventure book. So there's no wrong way to eat this Reese's, chat. Hey, got to Mythic rank for the first time in Arena thanks to Yarok Field. Thanks to Yarok Field, Black Order Scripts, watching awesome content. Congrats, Dr. Jones, and thanks for the biddies. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Listen, Chad, I wanted to take my extra turn, okay? And I want to take my next extra turn. Stop bullying. They can concede at any point. Don't you judge me. How are we doing, folks? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. If you're a new viewer, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, sometimes even 50 hours a week. If you enjoy constructed Magic, this is definitely the channel for you. We play a ton of different decks here, and we usually change decks every 60 minutes to 2 hours. As always, I love to give a shout out to my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day to day without their support, so thanks to all of them for keeping me employed. I'd also like to plug a couple of my wonderful sponsors here really quick. The Vitamin String Quartet creates unique instrumental string arrangements, everything from Zelda to Zeppelin, and they would love to underscore your next gaming session. You can find them streaming now on services such as Spotify and Apple Music. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mousepads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of artwork that they already have on their website, such as my own Hoaglandia branded merchandise. Woe Duels is a peer-to-peer wagering network that lets you challenge other people for money on Arena. You get some of their coins for free just for signing up, and they also do daily free tournaments as well as monthly giveaways, and of course,
don't make your life garbage time. Join us in Hoaglandia today by subscribing to Jeff Hoagland with Twitch Prime today.
Heading on in here to our next match with Bloodgates after beating Black-Red aggro in the first match there. Yeah, we took a few minutes to go through the historic announcements trumpet. They don't fit into a clip, but they'll go up on YouTube in their own reaction video tonight for sure. Is there a good reason for the wild card restriction to craft historic cards? Yeah, they don't want new players playing historic. Historic is for experienced players, not new players. I'm really surprised the number of long-term subs here who've heard me say a number of times they prefer new players play standard. They've just like forgotten that. I think we went 2-2 or 3-2 with the Keith's deck. We won similar amounts to what we lost. That deck's a blast. They want historic to look unappealing to new players because they don't want new players starting with historic. How were the Stoneforge Mystic games yesterday? Some of them were good, some of them sucked. I think the TLDR is that most decks that were bad before Stoneforge Mystic will still be bad after. Yeah, exactly, Ninja Killer. Formats like Historic are there for player retention, not for attracting new players. To set a low bar, I think Stoneforge Mystic is probably going to be better in Modern than Jason Bloodbraid. But I also think the bar for that is really low. All right, my goat's feeling a little bit tiny, so let's grow him all up here. Yeah, I think that's something I'm probably gonna put together, True Gamer. It's like a list of an importable list of these are the things I recommend you craft. Oh, I guess killing this means they get to mass manipulation my Ram. It's not really that big of a deal though, right? It's not the size of your goat that matters, it's the trample and vigilance. Yeah, they don't have gates, so like when they take this Ram, it's only gonna be a 2/2. I think the third mana is a big deal on Risen Reef versus Growth Spiral. Getting an extra land guaranteed into play is also pretty important. So we've got a few draws at a Gates Ablaze next turn. We get a draw step, we get a draw from Growth Spiral, and then we get 2 draws from our gates, from Guild Summit. They're probably playing a Nexus of Fate deck, if I had to venture a guess. I mean, is it really that much of an overcommitment? Like, if this dies, they get to get another thing, and, like, this drew 2 cards. That draws a card, which is sweet. I have how many? I have how many cards? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gates. Bye, friends. Do 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 do. Blaze it, yo. Yep, there's a Tameo. You love to see it, chat. We might not get another turn here. I think there is a very real chance that we don't get another turn, which is one of the reasons why this Gates deck, this Gates archetype kind of fell off. Once upon a time, this Gates archetype was the biggest, baddest, go over the top deck in the format. And that changed with the release of War and then subsequently M20. Other ramp decks caught up. Yeah, Narset was a rough beat for this deck in general. I agree with that. Mass Manipulation's okay. That's a card this archetype's played in the past. Yeah, Nexus is a big thing that gives you a hard time, though. What are my top 3 favorite cards in Standard right now? I don't know. 3-mana Chandra is definitely up there. Probably like 3-mana Chandra, Risen Reef, and Cavalier of Thorns, if you made me pick. Hey, Bad Whammer Jammer, thank you for the 8 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yarok is a good boy. Yeah, M20 was a great set. I agree. So, I think I'm trying to get to a point where I can start looping Nexus here. I'm basically trying to loop before they do. Is what I'm going for. There's still 28 cards in my deck, though, so I'm pretty unlikely to get there. Like, I didn't just play a big Krasis because they just get to, like, Tameo, pick back up a Entrancing Melody. Yeah, that's the Nexus of Fate. So we're just not gonna get another turn. Which again feels like a good example of why this kind of archetype struggles. The person that submitted it was in here a second ago, and they mentioned taking a peek at the sideboard. The sideboard has a couple of cards for this matchup. The lack of Disdainful Stroke here seems like a real concern to me. This is probably a lot of fries. I'm definitely into Negate, but like everything else we have going on here, I don't really have good tools to help me in a matchup like this one. Hey, CO, it is an exciting time for Modern, for sure. It's an exciting time for Magic with the Historic announcement. Have a sword to go with your shield, thanks for the 12 months. They can't steal Ceratops, sure. So they can't steal Ceratops is true. Now answer me the question of, what does my Ceratops do against a wall of 3/3s or 5/6 Cavalier of Thorns or any number of my opponent's other cards that brick wall Ceratops? So how does it play out with the rest of my deck is basically the question. I hate Narset. That's fair. We were just talking about how Narset is a real challenge for this archetype. That's a fair assessment. Are cards added going to be on a rotation, or are they in Historic forever? Historic forever unless banned punchworthy. It's a non-rotating format. That being said, new cards being printed will push the format in specific directions with some regularity. It's to push my glasses up here for a moment. Modern and historic are technically not eternal formats. There's some really corner case definition of what an eternal format is, and it's more than just non-rotating. Actually. So, it is non-rotating, it's not eternal. That sounds like something a vintage finance person would say. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. We live in a society. Opponent, opponent, do 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 do. Bloodsun bringing our gates into play untapped has been really hot. Any specific cards you'd like to see from Magic's past added to Historic? You know, that's a really... That question has a lot that goes into it. It's something I'd have to sit down and really think about. Well, I guess I can give one right away. My gut reaction was, I really hope we get Octo Daddy soon. Elder Deep Fiend is my #1 request. I have an answer. It's Elder Deep Fiend. I want some squids, chat. I want some squids.
Do not underestimate my fortitude.
I'd like Tireless Tracker. I'd like Elder Deep Fiend. Collected company, no, stop it. All right, can I pick what cards I would like added to Historic based on how much money I think people will send me to play them on stream. That seems like the intelligent way for me to approach this, right? Which cards will I be sent the most dollars to play? Oh, Savage Knuckleblade. Oh yeah, I wanna tell people they're to get knucked up. That's Savage Knuckleblade's the answer. That's the real answer. Savage Knuckleblade.
This isn't a fight you can win.
If you think the price point on Historic is too expensive, Historic is not for you, and that's okay. Not every format of Magic has to appeal to every person. Details on Historic for those just coming in. There we go. Thank you, Marty. Beat me to it. I have one of our 2 copies of Negates here, so maybe we're not just dead to them next turn if they have a Nexus. Wizards is a for-profit company. They are not a not-for-profit organization. Expecting them to not do things to maximize their profits is silly and short-sighted. Why not make Magic free? Why not minimize their profit margins and make it as cheap as possible? The reason why the price point looks unappealing to new players is because it's supposed to look unappealing to new players. I know that's not the answer people want to hear, but that's the reality of the situation. How many Magic Arena cards do you own, Snap Bolt Snap? How many Magic Arena cards do you own? I didn't Guild Summit before Root because I was yelling at chat. I missed drawing 2 cards because I was yelling at chat. The correct answer is 0 because WotC owns all of it. People who think WotC is going to do anything other than heavily incentivize people to play standard delusional. I agree. That's why we should be excited that we got anything for Historic. You have to rebuy the cards for Historic. Well, then your understanding is wrong, and I'd encourage you to increase your reading comprehension. Yeah, everybody stay safe if you're in Florida. Yeah, I'm planning to wrap up tomorrow with some champions, Kane. Probably start about this time or a little bit before. I'd intended to do some today, but I ended up having to start late today because I had something to do this morning. So I could try and high roll and kill them here. If this Krasis draws a gate, the Grazer puts the gate into play. So I think I want to leave 4 up for double negate. So I think I'm going to play this for X is 6 to try and high roll a gate. Because even if I miss, I still have double negate up next turn. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think I'm just going to put them to 1 and pass with double negate up here. Yeah, I've been playing some off stream, Kane. I played at the gym the last couple days. I've been playing some Order Wizards, and I'm a sucker for the Wizards. I'm playing Order Wizards and Destruction Wizards, and a little bit of Firebelly. Belching Firebelly is a fun card. The Grazer means I could have gone deeper, but I wanted to hold negate up just in case here. Because basically the only way I lose from here is if they start Nexusing me. So I'd prefer to be able to stop Nexus at all costs. This is smart on the opponent's part. Played out Nissa first, maybe bait me a little. We were possibly not quite as efficient with their mana as we could have been there. I agree. The growth spiral plus Lotus Field math is awkward. Yeah, Forgotten Arts is like a 3 of in almost every deck I've built. That card's really good. That was a good example of negate being excellent. I think I'm actually going to cut these Grazers and put these Time Ravelers in. I think I'd rather have a little bit things that play to the board a little bit more. Yeah, the Gates archetype as a whole is sweet. It's a shame it has, honestly, it might be right to build this archetype with more Nexus in it, just so you can consistently go over the top of people a little bit better. What's the best big Chandra deck? 4-color Neo Elementals. Look on my YouTube channel for the last 4-color Elementals deck we played. It's really sweet. All right, for the people talking about the price of Historic on Arena, modern metagame, Burn, $527, Jund, $1,700, 4-color Urza, $1,458, Tron, $886, Eldrazi Tron, $838, ooh, budget mono red Phoenix, $347, Azurius Control, $1,239, Magic's not cheap, chat. Magic's not cheap. Magic is ridiculously expensive. You're right, Nivik. I can't reasonably compare the price of paper to Arena, because Arena, you're gonna play with your Magic cards way more than you'll play with your paper cards. So your Arena cards are cheaper, and you play with them more. It's a screaming deal. But Jeff, you don't really buy modern decks. They're investments. The price goes up and we can sell out. It's like stocks, but always profitable. Oh. Oh, Magic players. We need more stonks. And the stonks need to be stronger. I also feel like people missed the part of the announcement where they said there will be events that give out historic cards as rewards. Yeah, that sounds great. I quit Magic 20 years ago because of how expensive it was, and Arena's model brought me back. I spent $200 on the game, which if you asked me 2 years ago if I would have spent money on Magic in my lifetime, I would have said no. Yeah. And I mean, like, people talk about the cost of these digital games, and like, you know, if you're someone who puts in like $200 a set release, maxes everything, gets you actual everything. So if you spend half of that, you get a lot of stuff, especially if you're playing a lot in between. And like spending $100 per 3 months on something that you're gonna spend doing even, let's say you play Magic Arena 5 hours a week. So you're gonna spend $100 for 5 times 12 weeks of entertainment. So $100 to 60 hours of entertainment at only 5 hours a week, like, you know, it's a pretty good rate. So, I don't think I want to jam Gatebreakers here. I think I'm just playing Route. Don't miss my tree fitty. Thank you for the reminder. I was doing math. Thanks for the tree fitty, Niv. Magic cards are like stocks. The best time to buy is always, and the best time to sell is never. Yep. The best time to sell is never. I don't know, Giant. I'm not really interested in getting into like the semantics of a comparison of what things cost in other countries that aren't the United States, because I can only speak to my reality. Your only options are bet, raise, re-raise, or all in. That's some interesting poker advice. I'm not sure that we're winning, chat. Feels a little behind, man. Well, the cards in my hand aren't currently good enough, so let's try and draw some new ones. So we were hoping to find a Gates Ablaze there. They don't have that much pressure in play yet, but again, they've got enough lands that we're getting to a point where we're kind of entering the danger zone of not getting another turn. And again, the important thing to remember is that your non-rotating format cards you pick up are going to go a lot further because you can play them forever. The standard legal cards cost half as much, but they have a shelf life. They expire at a certain point. And remember, unlike in paper, if cards you pick up on Arena ever get banned in Historic, they're going to give you the wild cards back for those. We've died. Alright, Let's try another one, shall we? I feel like that was a really great example of the types of decks that popped up again that kind of give this Gates archetype a really hard time. I feel like this deck really struggles against these other Nexus of Fate decks. Hey, Steam Flogger, thanks for the 23 months of support. I appreciate it. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. But they're pixels, those are cheap. Yeah, but there's an opportunity cost for Wizards, Twin. People buying things for Historic then aren't buying things for Standard, which is the format they'd rather have people playing. It's a frightening experience. It's okay, you've remedied it well. Yeah, I agree, Shuffler Truther. I think we might see it as an arena-only thing, mostly. I don't know. I don't know if that's strictly true. If they don't create digital-only cards, I'll bet that people will play it in paper also. Red source here is great because lets me play Blood Sun. Lets me go Ram into Blood Sun plus Lotus Field. Ooh, this could be a Narset matchup. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the Blood Sun here. Did they say they were going to release new from scratch cards? Both, Twin. They said that they're not limiting themselves to just reprints, that there could be new cards also. They just randomly mill me? Are we playing against a mill deck, chat? Maybe I'm supposed to Teferi there to lock them out of playing future counterspells. That's probably what I'm supposed to do. Teferi bounce their search. Yeah. I've noticed that this level of outrage happens all over the internet. When companies do something people don't like, nobody's entitled to make companies do what the consumers want. The ultimate power is how you spend your money. That's exactly correct. To be fair though, I think there's a balance. So I think giving feedback when you're unhappy is important, because if we hadn't given feedback that we were unhappy, Historic never would have changed to begin with. But I also think it's important to recognize when a decision's being made for a reasonable business reason, like this one is, as opposed to this is a choice that they could do differently and there's no business reason for them to do it differently. Yep.
Only time will tell.
Honestly, I think I'm willing to take a 2x wildcard cost to get Historic to be meaningful, right? Yep, that's my takeaway from the whole thing. You're gonna make Historic meaningful? Yeah, Nexus probably beats their deck. Yeah, actually, so one of the Warhammer card game that I played a bit of on stream that just released their new set that I mentioned we're going to play some of tomorrow is one of the things that they do that's kind of neat is in between, they're not old enough to have a non-rotating format yet, but for their standard set, halfway between set releases, they release like this mini pack of cards that you can buy that become standard legal, but you buy this pack and get all the cards in it. So like they can add cards in those mini packs to help rebalance the format a little bit in between set releases. And like having this quarterly card injection of very specific things into Historic can serve a similar purpose, right? Like there's this imbalance in the format, and these new cards we're releasing are helping address it in a certain way. I hope it doesn't turn into a hate cards versus hate card format. Sure. Managing a format is done with more than just printing things, for sure. I agree with that. A lot of important details. Yeah, I agree. M20 was stocked full of various miscellaneous safety valves, basically. For lack of a better term. $25 cards in my deck. So long as this Nexus doesn't get syncopated, we should be okay here. Can they beat a single Nexus? Hopefully not. Yeah, I would not be surprised to see them print the successful cards from the Modern Horizons into this new format. I think your LGS will support whatever format you and other people want to show up in their store and play. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 10. So next turn I can Nexus plus Gatebreaker Ram. That's kind of rude. Yeah, we can Nexus and pay for Syncopate is an astute observation. Land destruction has not been particularly competitive this season, JMP. It got edged out during War's release, unfortunately. All right, do they have a removal spell for the goat? It's really weird, Punchworthy. It feels like I'm kind of living in this strange alternate timeline. I don't get it, and I'm kind of concerned. I might be running out of win conditions. I think Wizards took our feedback to heart when they were asked about our favorite streamers. They knew they needed to cater to Hoagland. Yeah, God bless. Here's hoping. Oh, I think they're trying to activate their Azcanta. They're like looking at Blood Sun. I mean, even if they have a counter Marty, the Nexus still goes back into my deck and then I try again next turn, right? If I'm being completely honest, Wizards' announcement for Historic is better than what I would have asked for if they came to me and said, hey, Jeff, how would you manage this? Like, their solution is better than what I would have told them. Suck up. I'm just being honest. Might have to unsub. This is not a needless WotC bashing stream. This is when WotC steps in it, we say that and we talk about it stream. But otherwise we're just honest. Opponent has very painfully come to the realization they can't win. Yeah, maybe. I probably should have played the Grazer here because they're playing Liliana's Triumph. They could have a main deck Ego, too. Just gotta remember to keep setting the stop. Let's do the time warp again. Listen, they're the one that chose to register a mill deck in a format with Nexus of Fate, okay? That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is they chose to register mill in a format with Nexus of Fate. It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. Do 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 do. Yeah, to be fair, I'm not sure how we beat them after they ego us. I guess Ceratops is pretty good in this matchup. Gets through their counter spells. Corv Mox, thank you for the 14 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. You like that? Let Jace know who's boss. Don't test you. Oh, you'll be tested, all right. You'll be tested, all right. Listen, before anybody says anything, they're allowed to concede at any point, okay?
Fortunately, I won't have to remember.
Excellent, excellent. Alright, so I think I leave in the Grazers because they have the Liliana's Edicts. Gates Ablaze is awful. Yeah, good call. Do I really need 4 fries? Probably not. Let's do that. And before they board in Thief of Sanity, listen, my boy Grazer reaches up to the sky and beats them down. Did we secure top 1200? No. Playing on the ladder was making me hate Magic and my job, so I decided to stop. Magic's more fun when you're not playing a slot machine. Sand needs a blue source, but it's like pretty reasonable otherwise. Your dragon flies, I guess, but I have a sloth in a tree. Listen, he's just hanging out, okay? Yeah, that's also true, CO Twitch. I think that's also reasonably accurate. Sneaking in's easier the second month. No, this is the first month grader. This is the first month of a new cycle. The last one was 3 months long. Yeah, probably, Niv. You hope they put Goyf in Arena? I mean, Goyf's a lot worse in a format without fetch lands, to be fair. Hey, Pino, hope you feel better. They milled triple blue land. What a tilt. You know what I think the Field of the Dead decks really need? I hope they print Primeval Titan. That's like a reasonable card that could get printed, right? He's like, You just like curve Yarok into Primeval Titan. How many zombies is that? You curve Yarok into Primeval Titan? That's like a stupid number of zombies. Many zombies, yep. Hopefully this goat's just going to kill them. Asking the ever critical question, how do you deal with 30 to 50 zombies in 3 to 5 minutes? It's a question that weighs on the mind, really. Yeah, hopefully they just draw like their edicts and counter spells. Yeah, there's a Liliana's edict. All right, little Gatebreaker Ram. You got 4 turns of work. Let's go. Hey, if we draw another gate next turn, he only has 3 turns of work. The awkward part here is Nexus doesn't save us because we can't cast it currently. Manipulation of the mind. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Toot, toot. Toot, toot. Rudy, tooty, lemon, fruity. Counter spell this one. Mmm. Tasty. Okie doke. None of those are Doomblade. Mistborn Hydra. There's a card that takes me back. I guess I'll sacrifice the sloth. Woo, buddy. Oh, all right. All right. Oh, we got a Gatebreaker Ram. What a fitting end. We got a Gatebreaker Ram. All right, as far as this one's concerned, I actually really liked Blood Sun. Not only is this card sweet alongside Lotus Field, but it's also just like making all of our gates come into play on taps really good, right? Just like they're all dual lands with minimal downside. I felt like the one place this list was really lacking was in the trying to keep up with the Nexus decks. And not like the Wilderness Reclamation dedicated Nexus decks, but just like these various other ramp decks in the format that just like have a bunch of Nexus at their top end. I think my change to try and combat that would probably be working some Disdainful Strokes into the sideboard. I'd probably cut these Drakes in a fry and get 3 strokes in here. Because I feel like there's going to be a lot of games where, like, if you can just counter one Nexus or 2 Nexus, you should be able to swing that tempo back in your favor. We could also make our main deck greedier in comparison and, like, play more copies of Nexus ourselves just so we hit that critical mass point where we get to start looping Nexus sooner than our opponent does would be another option to explore. At any rate, that's going to be it for me for today, folks. I really appreciate everyone watching. Everyone's having a great Thursday wherever they're at in the world. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll be back at my normal time, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm planning to do 2 modern decks in the morning, 2 standard decks in the afternoon, and then I'm planning to play some of the new Warhammer TCG set after some standard. Thanks, everyone. And remember, if you're looking for more stuff from myself, you can check out my website and my YouTube channel, magicesports.net. And catch you tomorrow, hopefully.